Hi guys. So Emily Thornberry, who's the Shadow Secretary of State for Trade, was in the House of Commons on Thursday where she turned the tables on the Brexiteers. She called them out for their hypocrisy, basically. Now, this is in regard to the Australian trade deal that hasn't been signed yet, but that Boris Johnson's Trade Secretary Liz Truss wants to sign as soon as possible. But she basically said here that, well, if this trade deal had been signed by Brussels, Brexiteers would have lost their minds. Let's hear what she had to say.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Let me make clear at the outset that we support a trade deal with Australia which is designed in British interests, which will create jobs in our economy and increase our exports and growth. What we cannot support is a deal being rushed through in time for the G7 summit without proper debate or consultation, let alone the advanced scrutiny that the government promised by the Trade and Agriculture Commission.
Now, the government did promise proper scrutiny, but let's park that for a moment. If you're signing a trade deal, you need years. You may even need a decade in order to sign a trade deal, because the longer it goes on, the better the deal will be for both sides. But if you have to sign a trade deal immediately, if you're under pressure, and you can apply this also to a contract, if you have to sign a contract quickly, you may not have time to read it. If you're negotiating and you're negotiating with a time limit, you're going to, of course, have to agree to things that you would have probably not wanted to agree to. The Brexiteers seem to think signing trade deals quickly is a good thing. No, it's the opposite. The longer it takes to sign a trade deal, the better, because you can go into more detail. You can negotiate more aspects of the deal. If one side is not in a hurry and the other side is in a hurry, who do you think is going to compromise? Who do you think is going to be able to extract more concessions?
We cannot support a deal on agricultural tariffs that will cost jobs in our farming communities, undercut our food standards, increase our carbon offshoring, and open the door to the destruction of our farming industry through further lopsided trade deals. And as an exercise in intellectual honesty, I would just ask all those on the benches opposite, in the right-wing think tanks and on the newspaper comment pages, to consider for 1 second how they would have reacted if it was Brussels that had negotiated this trade deal and sold out Britain's farmers. They would have been rightly furious, and they should not be any less so when it is their own government that is doing the selling out.
100% agreement here. Fantastic. Yes, can you imagine for a moment Brussels, the European Union, the UK was still a member of the European Union, and the European Union signed a trade deal with Australia that basically threw British farming under a bus. How do you think Brexiteers in Parliament would have reacted? How do you think Boris Johnson would have reacted if he was in the opposition? How do you think the Express or the Daily Mail or talk radio, right-wing talk radio would have responded? Do you think they would have said, well, you know, they're negotiating on our behalf and there are probably some opportunities later on? Of course not. They would be screaming from the rooftops. They would have lost their minds. But when it comes to the British government signing these types of trade deals, they have no problems. Now, isn't it interesting how people like Nigel Farage and other Brexiteers, when it came to post-Brexit, the post-Brexit impacts on fishing have been completely silent. The fishing industry has been decimated by Brexit, but the Brexiteers are silent on that. The other parts of agriculture, farming, this is going to be deeply impacted, and the response from Brexiteers completely muted. It once again demonstrates that these people don't care about jobs, they don't care about the fishing industry, they don't care about farmers. Brexit is a means to an ends. It's about disaster capitalism, and it's about maintaining support of racists, basically. Keep one section of society happy by saying we're going to be more draconian with our immigration policies. We're going to keep the foreigners out. And the other aspect is we're going to allow big businesses, billionaires, to to decimate industries.
But, Mr. Speaker, what matters now is trying to improve the deal on the table before it is signed in Cornwall. And assuming it is now too late to remove the offer of zero tariffs, can I ask the Minister of State to pursue 3 other changes? First, will he put in place a safeguard trigger, which, as I'm sure he knows, Australia was willing to accept in its deals with Japan, China and the United States? A trigger to protect British farmers against surges in cheap imports. Second, will he make clear that zero tariffs will only apply to Australian products that meet the same standards that British farmers are required to meet on food safety, animal welfare and environmental protections? And third, will he insert a review clause into the deal so that, if its impact is even more negative than forecast by the government last year, there is scope both to amend the deal and to learn from it in future trade deals? Those are the bare minimum changes that we need to mitigate the damage that this rushed and botched negotiation is inevitably going to do. So I hope the Minister of State will agree to pursue all of those 3 priorities today.
Is he going to do that? Is Liz Truss going to do that? Is Boris Johnson going to do that? Probably not, because it would require more time. It would require them going back to the Australians and saying, look, can we add this, that and the other? And some of them they may be able to get, but they'll have to compromise somewhere else. Remember, it comes back to time again. The Australians are in no hurry to sign a trade deal. Who is in a hurry? Boris Johnson's government. Boris Johnson needs to sign this trade deal before the G7. This is about political posturing. This is about image. It's not that, and I've said this before, and many people have said this as well, it's not about signing trade deals that actually help Britain. It's about signing trade deals to defend Brexit, to convince the public that Brexit was a good idea. Look at how quickly we can sign trade deals. The Brexit supporting public think, oh, if you can do it quickly, it means that you're doing well. You're more nimble, you're faster, you're able to sign trade deals much quicker than the European Union can. Look at the European Union. It takes years to sign trade deals. We can do them in months. To the public, they think that's a benefit. When in reality, if you're signing a trade deal quickly, you're compromising on a load of areas, on a load of things. It's not good to sign trade deals quickly. Now, if there's a power imbalance, the United States can come to a small country and say, you're going to sign this trade deal quickly, and they'll agree to it. But there's a power dynamic there. The UK is not in a position to demand things of Australia, because Australia's main market is not the UK. Australia's main market is Asia. Once again, this is damaging to the UK. Imagine if it was Brussels that was signing this trade deal. Brexiteers would have been criticising it, and rightly so. But when it comes to Brexiteers signing the trade deals, everything is okay. You're going to hear from Brexiteers, both online and in Parliament, saying how great this trade deal is, ignoring the fact that it's not. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot. I want to say a big thank you to all of my patrons. You ensure that this channel continues to exist. I'm eternally grateful for all of your support. If you join Patreon, you will receive instant access to our Discord server, where we have both audio and video chats. You can chat with me and other patrons, where we discuss important and non-important issues. Becoming a patron per month costs about the same as a large coffee, so why not check it out?